Welcome back to another TheGearTester tabletop review. Today I'd like to talk to you about the Sog North West Ranger. It's a quality fixed blade knife. The cutting edge on this individual blade is 5.2 inches. Its thickness is 3/20ths of an inch thick, making this blade thinner than many knives that are made of 3/16 steel, which actually to me, for my intended purpose, is kind of a backwoods survival and bushcraft knife. Make it very well suited to that. That thinner blade allows it to do things like skinning, allows it to do things like food preparation better, along with its full flat ground construction, than many knives such as this excellent, let me see if I can get it out here, this excellent other knife made by Sog. This is the Sog Seal Pup Elite, and it has a blade much closer to 3/16ths of an inch thick. An excellent knife, but for the intended uses of skinning game, whether that be small game or larger animals, or for backwoods bushcraft, I think that the Sog Northwest Ranger 2.0 may excel because of the thinness of the blade. Some people may worry about batoning it through wood. I wouldn't. There are certainly a number of videos of guys using it on YouTube, and I have used this individual knife to baton through a number of pieces of wood, and have not felt that it was going to break as I put it on those logs and pounded it through with another piece of log or a wooden mallet, and certainly did not worry about it breaking. I think that when you expect too much of a knife, then it breaks. So if you're trying to baton it through a telephone pole and you're using a metal hammer to do that and the knife breaks, you've misused your tool, and that's why it broke. But I think if you use this appropriately, if you don't have greater expectations than you should for this knife, that it definitely is going to do everything you'd want it to do. Its overall length is basically 10 inches long, slightly under 10 inches from the tip to there, but 9.9 inches. Its weight is going to be 6.2 ounces, which makes it very lightweight, and I like that too, especially with the length of the blade being able to have a 5-inch cutting blade, plus you're going to have a little bit more here. I really like the fact that the Sog Northwest Ranger has no serrations. I think for the purpose I've stated as kind of a backwoods, bushcrafting, survival, game processing blade, that having serrations would only make this knife less desirable. Sog originally produced the Northwest Ranger with some serrations. For whatever reason, they made a limited run of them without serrations and sold them in Europe. Those knives, or a couple of those knives, found their way into the hands of individuals living in North America who really liked them. So they asked Sog to produce the Northwest Ranger without serrations, and this is what Sog has done with the Sog Northwest Ranger 2.0. I really like that. I really like not having the serrations. The steel which this blade is made out of is AUS 8, AUS 8. And I really like AUS 8. I've had a couple knives which have been made out of that steel. AUS 8, for those of you who don't know a lot about it, and I'm certainly not an expert, AUS 8 has some of the edge-keeping capabilities of 1095 steel, and at the same time has some of the rust-resistant properties of stainless steel. So AUS 8 is an awesome combination of being able to retain an edge and have enough carbon in it that allows you to have a sharp edge over extended use, and at the same time has the properties of stainless steel, allowing it, if you get it wet, if you're in a sea environment, a climate where you're going to have salt water on this blade, that it's not just going to rust out on you and you're just going to have kind of a dull knife on you. So I really like AUS 8. On the Rockwell hardness scale, the hardness of this steel falls into the 57 to 58 point area. The grip is made up of Kraton, which Sog has started doing this with some of their knives. The Sog Seal Pup and Sog Seal Pup Elite and Sog Seal knife had almost like a plastic grip, a hard plastic grip. This Kraton almost feels, if you haven't felt Kraton, like a tire, or maybe a Choco sandal, that kind of kind of a black hard plastic grip. It has a black TINI, I would call that tinny, but somebody else might have a better way of saying that. The TINI black coating here that Sog uses. I found it to be very good quality. It holds up to a lot of use. I've used this knife a lot. I've also used my Sog Seal Pup Elite, which has the same black TINI coating, and it has held up and it has not worn off. So I'm very impressed with the quality of both the steel and the quality of the coating, along with the quality of the handle of the Sog North West Ranger 2.0. For me, this knife's desirability, as it stands alone without a sheath, is very high. I really like this knife. The quality of the steel, the quality of the construction, the lightweight nature of this blade really make it, to me, an excellent bushcrafting knife. However, the desirability of this knife kind of plummets. It takes a flying leap off a cliff when I start looking at the Sog Northwest Ranger belt sheath here. Sog usually, for many of their knives, provides a couple of different options of sheath options. However, currently, as of the end of November 2011, Sog only makes the Northwest Ranger available with this poor quality leather sheath. And to be fair, I knew from reading some reviews and watching some reviews that the Sog Northwest Ranger's sheath was inexpensive and was not a high quality leather sheath. But I bought the knife anyway because I just figured that Sog was a really quality company, and I believe that Sog is a quality company. They've made another really quality blade here. However, the leather sheath that comes with the Northwest Ranger has a lot to be desired, and that's not because it's out of leather. I like leather sheaths. I really like Kydex sheaths, but I do not like this very low quality leather sheath. You can see right there where after wearing it for just about 10 hours that rubbing on my belt, that it just ate into the leather and cut right through the black finish of the leather into kind of the rawhide, just tanned leather color there. It's riveted. I like that it's riveted. It kind of has inexpensive stitching. It does have a drainage hole. One of the things that I don't like about it is just this huge belt loop. So you put this on your belt loop and this thing just zings. If you don't put it on your belt and then have belt loops from your pants that kind of hold it in place, this knife is just kind of go around you and around you on your belt. One of the things I really hate about this sheath is the fact that this snap system right here that retains a knife, and which is the only form of retention in a leather sheath, that it is totally unfixed, meaning that it's not stitched or riveted so that it's a fixed point there. Meaning when I take my knife out of the sheath and I put it in, okay, it will fall straight out if I don't do this snap shut. And I don't mind having a snap. Many leather sheaths use a snap. In fact, I think all leather sheaths that I can think about have some kind of a snap system because the leather itself does not retain the knife. And getting the knife out is perfectly fine. I just do that snap and I draw the knife one-handed. But trying to put the knife back in the sheath one-handed becomes very problematic when this has pulled itself like this, because now I gotta kind of pull it up here, do it here. I can do it one-handed, okay, but what ends up happening if I've got it on my belt is I have to reach over, I put my knife in my sheath, reach over, grab the sheath, push this over, and snap it on two-handed. Now some of you may not care about that. I do. I like having a one-handed sheath. An example of one-handed sheath from Sog is the Sog Seal Pup Elite or the Sog Seal knives. I believe the family of knives all have this sheath. You have locked right in there the Kydex. I actually had to heat this one up and push it in a little bit so that it would lock in there using that retention. But they have it one-handed sheath, and then this buckle right here is fixed. Okay, so it doesn't slide, and I just simply do one-handed operation there to get the knife out. Pop, knife comes out. Okay. And that's what I would expect from Sog to produce a quality sheath for the Northwest Ranger 2.0. Currently, they do not as of the end of November 2011. Sog, I don't know why you produce such a quality knife with such an inexpensive sheath. One of the things that Sog also does is they produce, and I don't have one of them, but for many of their knives, such as the Sog Seal Pup or Seal Pup Elite, they produce a kind of sheath very similar to this one here. This is actually the Ontario RTAC 2 knife sheath, and this is kind of a sheath that's made out of a material with some kind of a liner, inexpensive liner in it. I hate these sheaths too, and I don't like them from Sog either. I really think that you should do a quality Kydex sheath, especially with a company like Sog that has a quality plastic or Kydex sheath with a good belt attachment system and quality retention. I don't like these kind of cloth sheaths, even though many of them are MOLLE capable, simply because most of them have an extended slap factor, meaning that the belt goes in here, the knife handle ends about here, and they slap a lot if you're trying to run or walk. And I do not like the slap factor. So, Sog, if you end up watching this video, if you end up looking at it, don't just produce one of these sheaths that you produce for a number of your other knives. Give us a quality Kydex or plastic sheath very similar to what you produce on the Sog Seal knife family, whether that's the full Sog Seal knife, the Sog Seal Pup, or the Sog Seal Pup Elite, like this one here. Give me one that has a quality retention and a good fixed snap on it. I would recommend the Sog Northwest Ranger, even with its sheath problems, to you. I think it's a really quality blade. It runs about $70. I think you can get this total, counting shipping and handling, getting it to you. You might be able to find it even cheaper than that. I think it's a very quality knife. I hope and I imagine that Sog will produce another sheath option for this, preferably of their Kydex or plastic variety. Even if they don't, it is a really good blade. Okay, it is a really good knife. Many users will not be bothered at all by this leather sheath. It probably wouldn't have worried or bothered me 5-10 years ago. I would have been happy for a really quality blade. Now that I have had the experience with some quality sheaths, I've gotten maybe a little bit snooty about my sheath systems. But the knife, the Sog Northwest Ranger 2.0, is definitely a high quality blade, whether you're wanting to use it for backpacking, bushcrafting, hunting, just having a quality fixed blade on you. I definitely would recommend the Sog Northwest Ranger 2.0. The sheath has some things to be desired, but it does do its intended purpose of protecting the knife blade and protecting you from the knife blade. It does retain the knife well without much movement. The quality of the leather is just substandard. Guys, this is the Gear Tester. Thanks for reviews. Thanks for your subscriptions.